ABM is a big driver of conversion. And I think the reason why it's working well at Nuvolo is, the salespeople have really appreciated the improvement in the quality of the opportunities and the feedback they're getting from customers. Like, for example, with those one-to-one campaigns, customers are saying that they really are liking, they really like the fact that that Nuvolo is branding a website for them. It shows that Nuvolo really cares about their business, maybe more than the competitors do. For the salespeople, it provides this type of approach provides a lot of different benefits. So it's providing them with real-time alerts about in-market opportunities. It flags the most actively engaged opportunities. It creates warmer leads for the SDRs, and it identifies stalled or unengaged targets. So this is I've pulled this directly out of Nuvolo's Salesforce, and I'm sorry, it looks like a heavily redacted page because I can't show the names of the account owners or the names of the individual clients, but you can see that there are some there are some named organizations there. And over here you can see this thing called Spike Heat, which is it uses the chili pepper icon. So this is, although this is a salespeople's actually is in Salesforce, they're getting data out of Terminus that's feeding into their Salesforce, that's showing that these particular accounts are spiking and are actively visiting the website. So for the salespeople, it means I got to spend my effort today. I've got to really focus on getting these folks engaged. They also get much more detailed information. So for example, here, this is a healthcare system that was surging. There's an individual from the healthcare system called Diane. I've covered the last name for obvious reasons. And you can see for Diane that she's visited the page, total of 17 pages. And she seems particularly interested in work order maintenance. And there's the activities that have actually been, that have been used over the last, as you can see, it's over a couple of years, that have 18 months for engaging that particular target. So you can see that history, and the SDR, all the sales, the account executive has that single view within Salesforce. I got a lot of this information from a guy called Chris Revel, who is Nuvolo's ABM guy, and he said something which just really I really liked, which is the thing about ABM is it changes the mindset from being proactive to being reactive. So think about that a minute, which is, we're all trained, early on in life that you've got to be very proactive with your clients and proactive with your prospects. Well, the thing about ABM is it actually stops you from being proactive, and it gets you to move to being much more reactive, which is frankly going to be much more reliable. You're always going to have a better hit rate being reactive than you are going to be proactive. So here's an example of it. So, the Terminus allows you to see what topics, what intent keywords are surging for in your particular, for your particular customers and targets. So for example, this one, this showed that, in this particular week, asset management was one of the keywords that was surging. And so that means that the sales and marketing team said, okay, this seems to be something's going on here. Maybe it's the beginning of the year, and after coming out of last year, companies are starting to think more about being more strategic about asset management, and there's a lot of interest in that. So then that then shifts your marketing, right? Because you're going to start thinking about, well, do we have the right content? Is the website organized to deliver a really good sales message around asset management? So that's a kind of another way that you can react and optimize in real time. I want to just leave you with this one thing from before we move on to the next set of examples. And this is, what Nuvolo is working on next. So there's a feature within Terminus called spike models, which I think is quite interesting. So the way this works is that you develop a set of assets and a set of campaigns, and you organize them into different kind of engagement buckets. So an engagement bucket is kind of like a campaign, And what happens is that if particular accounts start to spike, they're set up to automatically kick off that campaign model. So you can see how this company's, again, they started with Terminus about a year ago. They didn't really start campaigning till about six or 7 months ago, and they're now moving to really scaling up the way that they're using it. This injection of capital, I think, is I think the investors are going to get a really good return on it based on that. What does it take to do this? So what has it taken for Nuvolo to be successful at it? So they've got a very deliberate strategy in what they're doing. They have a dedicated expert, ABM expert, who's really savvy. I learned a lot by talking to him a couple of weeks ago. They have a campaign manager who's in charge of demand generation, who works in lockstep with the ABM expert and also the account executive, the sales AEs and the SDRs. They bought Terminus, and they've integrated that with Salesforce and HubSpot, and I think some other tools as well. They spend money on display, which they do through Terminus, and they have, as a result of this, they've really increased the amount of creative assets that they're producing. So they're generating a lot more content, a lot more targeted content as well, and it's a ton of work. I mean, this is their marketing team is pretty sizable for a healthcare technology company.